Welcome back to Investing Talk podcast. Today we're taking a focused look at General Electric. We're working from a comprehensive update and analysis and a due diligence report you shared, all dated around April 20th, 2025. Our aim is really to sift through this information and give everyone a clear picture of where GE stands now and maybe what's coming next.
And it's pretty clear from the materials GE's been undergoing, well, a massive transformation.
Right. Highlighted by things like the GE Vernova spinoff and some really substantial ongoing investments.
Definitely.
So we'll look at those recent moves, the market's reaction, the sort of wider industry picture, and obviously the risks and opportunities that were identified.
And financials too. Competition, analyst takes, It's all in there.
Okay, let's get into it. What jumps out first from the recent developments?
Well, the scale of the recent investments is really striking. We're talking almost $1 billion just in the U.S. for aerospace manufacturing and supply chain improvements planned for 2025.
Almost $1 billion. Wow.
Yeah, and that's alongside another, $78 million for European manufacturing expansion, supposedly creating over 500 jobs there.
So this isn't just tinkering around the edges. This is a major commitment.
Not at all. It feels like a very strong signal of confidence in the future of their aerospace division. You have to wonder how this positions GE Aerospace against its rivals, in terms of capacity.
That makes sense. And the sources do suggest this manufacturing boost lines up with expectations of, well, higher demand for aerospace products.
Right. Think about commercial aircraft needing upgrades, plus ongoing defense contracts globally. That demand picture seems pretty robust.
And what about the other side of the house, the energy part?
Well, connecting to that, there's the GE Vernova branding campaign, The Energy of Change, launched early April 2025, marking 1 year post-spinoff.
Ah, okay, so reinforcing their identity in the energy market.
Exactly. Seems like a push to really define themselves, especially with that focus on energy innovation. In a busy renewables market, how well that branding cuts through will be interesting.
And this all stems from that big decision back in, November 2021.
That's the one. The plan to split into 3 separate public companies: aerospace, healthcare, and energy.
And the reports indicate they're still actively executing that. Leadership changes, filings.
Yeah, it seems to be progressing. And seeing these huge investments happen at the same time as this major restructuring, it suggests they really believe in the standalone strength of each piece.
But for investors, these big spends, they're not free, right?
No, definitely not. That's a key point. While these investments look good for future growth, and analysts might see them positively, they do hit near-term cash flow.
So it's that classic balancing act, investing for tomorrow versus the financials today.
Precisely. How investors weigh that potential against the immediate cost is crucial.
Okay, so how is the market reacting? Your analysis showed something interesting there.
It did. It's a bit of a contrast, actually. On one hand, the stock saw some pretty significant appreciation over the last 6 months or so, year to date as well. It even hit an all-time high back in late March 2025.
I remember seeing that peak around $212.
Right. But more recently, around the time of these reports in April 2025, it was trading closer to $182. And the technical indicators you flagged were leaning bearish.
Bearish? Like what?
Well, the fear and greed index was apparently in fear territory, sitting around 39.
Okay, so indicating caution among investors.
And the RSI, the relative strength index, was near oversold levels around 37.
So a stock potentially falling too fast, maybe due for a bounce, but overall sentiment is fearful. That's complex.
It is. This divergence between the, let's say, positive fundamental news like the investments and these more cautious technical signals, it could say a lot about investor psychology right now.
What do you mean?
Well, an RSI near oversold can sometimes mean the selling is overdone. But the fear reading suggests maybe investors are more focused on potential short-term risks or perhaps valuation concerns despite the long-term story.
And the forecasts included in the reports.
They reflected that uncertainty. Some projections suggested a possible decline, maybe towards a range of $145 to $181 by mid-2025. It feels like the market is really grappling with how to value GE amidst all this change.
Trying to balance that future potential with the current numbers and sentiment.
Seems like it.
Your report did highlight the aerospace division as a key profit engine.
Yes. Very much so. Strong revenue streams there. And analysts generally expect continued revenue growth, partly because of those big backlogs in aviation and also in renewable energy for Vernova.
So the underlying business trajectory, at least based on orders, looks positive.
It does. And post-restructuring, the debt levels seem to be managed reasonably prudently, according to the analysis.
But you also noted a gap in the data provided.
Right. Critically, the specific financial results for Q1 or Q2 of 2025 weren't in the source materials we reviewed. Same for detailed full-year 2024 numbers like revenue, EPS, the PE ratio, debt to equity, free cash flow, return on equity.
All the metrics you typically dig into for a deep financial health check.
Exactly. Those are crucial for understanding valuation and performance properly. You'd find those in GE's official filings or financial databases. The PE ratio, for instance, tells you how the market values its earnings right now. We don't have that specific figure from these sources.
Okay, understood. So boiling it down, what are the core strengths and maybe the red flags that emerge from this info?
On the strength side, definitely the diversified portfolio, operating in generally resilient sectors like aerospace and increasingly renewables. That's a plus.
And the strong order backlog you mentioned.
Absolutely, that provides some visibility. And the long-term growth projections highlighted in the analysis were quite positive, suggesting potential for significant upside down the road.
But then the red flags.
Primarily those near-term bearish technical signals we talked about. They do raise the question of whether the stock might be a bit overvalued currently, or at least at risk of a correction.
And the market sentiment indicator showing fear.
Right. That suggests investors aren't exactly throwing caution to the wind right now. There's a degree of wariness out there.
This seems to tie into what you found about analyst opinions. They weren't all singing from the same hymn sheet.
Not at all. Very mixed picture. You had some analysts with quite bullish long-term forecasts predicting prices could reach $250, even $300 by year-end, or potentially doubling in 5 years.
That's very optimistic.
It is. But then the short to medium-term outlooks included in the analysis were much more guarded. Warnings about potential pullbacks, mostly linked to valuation concerns. Some models even projected, I think it was around a 20% decline by mid-year.
So a real split between the immediate future and the longer horizon.
Precisely. It paints a picture of near-term uncertainty, even if the long-term story seems compelling to some. And this aligns with some of the chatter noted on social media, enthusiasm mixed with anxiety about the current price level.
Okay, let's widen the lens a bit. What about the industries GE operates in?
Well, aerospace is definitely seeing growth drivers. Commercial travel continues to recover, driving fleet upgrades, and defense spending remains pretty consistent.
And competitors are likely responding too.
Oh, yes. The analysis mentioned competitors are also focused on expanding capacity and innovating, though supply chain issues remain a factor across the industry.
And on the energy side, with Vernova.
The market emphasis is clearly on integrating renewables and improving power conversion tech. That aligns well with Vernova's stated focus and that energy of change branding.
Who are the main competitors mentioned?
Companies like Honeywell, Siemens, RTX Corp, formerly United Technologies came up. They compete across different parts of GE's business.
And GE's edge.
The analysis pointed to their strength in jet engine manufacturing and those lucrative long-term service contracts. But like any tech-heavy business, continuous innovation is key to staying ahead.
Which brings us neatly to the specific opportunities and risks identified.
Opportunity-wise, the big one is clearly capturing that expected aerospace demand through these manufacturing investments.
And the spin-offs themselves. Having focused management teams for aviation, healthcare, and energy, that's potentially an opportunity too.
Could be. More focus might lead to better execution and innovation within each segment.
Okay, and the risks.
Well, the flip side of those big investments is execution risk. Cost overruns, delays in getting the new capacity online. These things can happen with large capital projects.
Makes sense. Varos.
Broader macroeconomic factors are always a risk. Things like interest rate changes could affect financing costs for GE or its customers. And regulatory environments, manufacturing standards, trade policies, those can always shift.
Any recent legal or regulatory red flags noted in the materials?
No, nothing specific or recent was highlighted in the information we reviewed.
All right, so looking ahead, what are the key things to watch?
Definitely the upcoming quarterly earnings releases. They'll be crucial for getting more clarity on the growth path, especially how that aerospace recovery is tracking financially.
Any potential positive surprises?
New product launches or maybe technology upgrades from Vernova in the renewable energy space could certainly act as positive catalysts.
And on the flip side, potential headwinds.
More regulatory changes, perhaps around emissions or trade, could pose challenges. And ongoing macroeconomic pressures like inflation impacting margins. That's something to keep an eye on for almost any industrial company right now.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up for our listeners. This exploration, based on the April 2025 info you shared, paints a picture of GE in, well, deep transformation.
hmm Significant strategic shifts, massive investments, particularly in aerospace.
And while those long-term growth prospects look promising to many, there are definite near-term market concerns. Technical indicators suggest potential volatility ahead.
Absolutely. So watching those earnings reports and the wider economy becomes really key for anyone following the stock.
What seems particularly fascinating here is doing both things at once, this huge expansion push, while also navigating the complexities of the spinoffs.
It really is. And it leads to a crucial question, I think, for any investor considering GE now. How do you weigh these large, forward-looking investments against the possibility of a near-term market correction? If you're thinking about establishing or adding to a position, what might be the most strategic entry point given this backdrop? It's not straightforward.
A very important question indeed. Something for our listeners to consider. We definitely encourage you to subscribe, like, and perhaps comment on this discussion. Your insights and questions always help shape what we explore next. Thanks for joining us on Investing Talk Podcast.